Before we jump into today's episode, if you're digging Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast, please know that in 2026, our 10th anniversary year, your support truly matters. Join us on Patreon at patreon.com/udownwithkpp. Memberships start at just $1 a month and help us bring you even more KPP. You can also support the show with new Ka-Pow merch on our TeePublic store. Please know we appreciate every bit of support, and on with the episode.
You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. We are so glad you joined us tonight. My name is Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
Seth.
That time of year, fellas. It's almost free comic book day.
Summer movie chow. Oh, sorry.
Not yet.
Same
Not
thing.
Yet. Not yet.
Don't put your carts in front of your horses. It is springtime. It is April, which means it's almost the first week in May.
Yeah.
That's how time works.
That brings pilgrims. Or what? Something.
Pilgrims.
Yeah, Mayflowers.
Oh, Mayflowers bring pilgrims. I get it.
Well, we've had some April showers, but we're all looking forward to the start of summer. And for us, nothing kicks off summer but free comic book day.
How can you read this? There's no pictures.
Well, some people use their imagination.
Well, I must hurry back to my comic book store where I dispense the insults rather than absorb them.
Happens all the time. Read a comic book, okay?
This year it's Saturday, May 2nd. We're going to do a little preview of what to expect that we've done for quite a few years now. This is actually the 25th anniversary of Free Comic Book Day. It was invented 25 years ago and is my 21st year participating at Asylum.
Wow.
I was just getting ready to say, feels like 20. Not 25. It was 21.
So if your first free comic book day was 21 years ago, now you can have a beer with your comic.
We're legal.
Get a Black Label comic.
We have Dora free comic book day. You can drink on the streets.
Just
and get a
wander the
comic.
streets of Marietta with a beer and a comic.
Yeah.
Why doesn't the whole town participate in this? I gotta ask
I don't know.
somebody run it up the chain.
I don't know. They should. How do they not
All right,
know
so
about it?
if you're not familiar, it's like what it sounds like. Free Comic Book Day. Stores across the country and across the world open up their doors, welcome people in, and give away absolutely free books. No purchase necessary. No hoops, no strings attached. Just free books for you and the kids. So it started off, they were inspired by Baskin-Robbins, had free scoop day, free ice cream. And a retailer out west said, that worked really well for ice cream. We should do that for comics.
Do they still have those?
Every year.
Do they still have Baskin-Robbins?
I don't know.
So the comic industry has outlasted Baskin-Robbins.
Maybe.
Last I heard, Ant-Man worked there.
That's true. They were around then.
Yeah.
So this year, for the first time, they've expanded it to hobby and game stores. So they've got in a few different promos to expand just beyond the comic shops. And this year as well is the first year for Comics Giveaway Day, which might be a little confusing, but don't worry about it. It's the same thing. It's all just corporate nonsense of who owns the copyright. So half the stores have a free Comic Book Day logo, or half the companies have a free Comic Book Day logo. The other half have Comics Giveaway Day. So if you go to freecomicbookday.com, you're not going to get the full list. And Comics Giveaway Day doesn't really have a website of their own yet. So if you Google that, you'll probably just land on the Penguin Random House page, and they'll have a list and everything. But we're going to give you the list. We're going to go down the full list tonight. So I don't know if we're recording this earlier or books are arriving later, but I don't even have all the books yet. I haven't read very many of them. They're just starting to arrive. So this is pretty fresh information. I don't have a whole lot of spoilers or anything, and I wouldn't spoil it if I did.
No, that's to tell the truth. You would if you could, but you don't have them.
I want you to enjoy your day. So listen up, take some notes, decide what you want to pick when you hit your favorite local shop Saturday, May 2nd. We'll start out an old familiar favorite. We got World of Archie. It's Archie's 85th anniversary.
Wow.
They've been around a while. And this one is spotlighting not the main characters, it's spotlighting some of the side characters. So like Jinx and there's some Jola Kit, someone reintroduced recently, is like in another band. There's a Daisy Thunder, a race car driver in Riverdale.
Thunder.
So it's not going to be Daisy Thunder. It's not going to be all your most familiar. You might meet some new residents of Riverdale.
Dr. Curdle Jr.?
Yeah. That was the first book I read to make sure he was not.
See if he was in there.
So the company Boom has 4 books this year. They're going big. They've got Garfield.
Oh.
Hashtag
nice
Summer of Garfield.
Yeah.
I'll give you a couple excerpts.
2020 what? 5?
It's going to happen, I know. Let's get some excerpts from upcoming trade paperbacks and a preview of the brand new Baby Garfield.
Baby Garfield.
Baby Garfield. The Adventures
Famous
of Garfield.
top 5 babies right now. Baby Yoda, Baby Anthony, Baby Garfield.
Muppet Babies?
Yeah. Come on, Jordan. One more baby.
I'm drawing a blank. I'm drawing a baby blank.
No. We'll let Baby Jesus be in there, I guess. Okay. Move on.
All right. Boom. Another all ages. They've got a flip book of Jim and the Holograms. On the opposite side, My Little Pony. So it reprints the first issue of Jim and gives you a sample of the ponies. A new series is starting pretty soon, so they're giving you a sample to catch up with that one. Boom also has the Power Rangers number 0. So this is new content. Man. This is not reprint stuff. There are 3 new Power Rangers series starting in the next year. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is rebooting. Power Rangers Unlimited and Power Rangers Green has people talking. It's sort of a Last Ronin type story where the Green Ranger is like the last living ranger in a dark future. So this one's got little prelude chapters to each of those. And then the last one on Boom, Something is Killing the Children, Road to Slaughter. So this is James Tynion IV and Werther Deledra's very popular horror book. And this is a prologue chapter with new material. So this one's also got new. So Boom is doing a good job getting you new chapters for upcoming books. Over at Dynamite, they've got a biggie, Supernatural, classic TV show. They just launched a new series that is set between seasons 1 and 2. So it's Sam and Dean Winchester early in the run. That show lasted over a decade. So this is kind of early adventures. I'm sure they can meet lots of characters from the show. This is a reprint of issue 1. If you missed it, you can get caught up on the first issue of Supernatural. Well, Dynamite also has Stitch number 1 from Lilo and Stitch. This is also a reprint of his first issue. All new adventures, not adapting the movies or anything. It's new stories in comic book form. And then Stitch is double dipping this year. Tokyo Pop has the manga version. Stitch, Best Food Forever. So this is a black and white, reading right to left, manga style adventures of Stitch. So if you're a Lilo and Stitch fan, you get twice the fun this is. Our friends at Dark Horse have a couple of books Avatar: The Last Airbender that they usually do, and they pair that with Minecraft, super popular at the moment. So you get 2 all new stories there. And then for other readers, we've got He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Going to be a big summer for He-Man.
Feels very timely.
With Dungeons and Dragons. So this is more fantasy oriented. So you get a He-Man story, Tim Seeley and Andrew Cronky, and then He-Man versus Hordak. And then the D&D is set in the Forgotten Realms era. Colin Kelly, Jackson Lansing, and Alessandro Miracolo.
Yeah.
So at IDW, we got an old favorite, Lock and Key. Reprinting the first issue. It's that book's like coming up on 20 years old.
That's a great book right there. Yeah. That's great.
They just released it as the IDW Classics collection in the smaller digest format that collects volumes 1 and 2.
The first issue on Free Comic Book Day,
you get the full.
There's murder in that,
and naughty language and violence and rough stuff.
Come get it, kids.
This one's on the red scale. If you remember, we got green, blue, and red color coding.
Yeah, I remember the green.
For mature.
Yeah.
So if you somehow missed this, it's one of the great books of the last 20 years.
Yes.
And the first volume that they're recollecting, it's like $13.99, I think, for basically volumes 1 and 2 at a nice little digest size. Can't pass that up. IDW is also bringing the fan favorite Sonic the Hedgehog, always super popular with the kids. This is a reissue of the original #1 with a new cover. All right, so we've got AMP Comics. Couldn't pass this one up. Greatest American Hero. They're bringing a series from the 80s TV show about the bumbling superhero. This is kind of him coming back, set in the modern day. It's him coming back. He has a son and a grandkid who think he was crazy. They've heard these stories from the 80s and think he's nuts, so he has to kind of reconnect with his son. And they, quote, get the ending he deserves. I'm not sure, maybe the show ended kind of abruptly, so the comics are going to try to give him a little bit of a send-off that he didn't get the first time. From Titan Comics, we've got a Conan the Barbarian book, Tides of the Tyrant King. So Titan's done this the last couple of years. They've kind of released a prologue chapter of a future miniseries or crossover or whatever. So this is a brand new story. Tulsa Doom's dark power stirs once more. Conan's got to take him on. So that's a brand new story there. Image is coming back with the Energon Universe Special. They've had those the last couple of years. This is the tie-in universe where Transformers, G.I. Joe, and a book called Void Rivals all connect together. And they have just recently started integrating Mask in the characters.
Yeah, I don't know Mask. That's why that part's throwing me off.
Yeah,
You're going to know him.
I recognize the vehicles and the mountain playset and all that. I recognize the visuals, but I don't know much about the story. So this one's going to kind of give you another little sample of that. It's all new stories. And they're saying it's a great jumping on point if you haven't been reading, but it's also important if you've been reading all the Energon stuff. It kind of gives you important information there too. So Image has had pretty good track record with that last couple of years. And then from Vault, Dungeon Crawler Carl. This is the hugely popular web series, lit RPG series. They're doing a graphic novel. They've been doing a web comic for a while, and it's all going to be collected into a graphic novel coming up. And this is the first chapter, so you get a sample from that. And this is the one I probably didn't order enough. I'm starting to second guess.
Yeah.
Just how popular this is. So
it's huge. I'm just about to finish the second book. I'm listening to them. I tried a couple times before to start it, and I never could get into it. And then it's because I just wasn't focused. But it's fine. I don't love it, but it's fine. But it is hugely popular. I'm sure I'll finish the series. But
Yeah, I had heard of it. I kind of was aware of it, but I didn't know how huge it was till fairly recently.
Oh,
So,
there will be a movie or something. There's
Yeah.
going to be there's a game, an RPG coming out in the next year or two. It's crazy.
I'm guessing that'll be my first my first depleted one that sells out before the
Yeah,
basic.
probably that'd be my vote.
All right, so from DC, we've got the DC Next Level Sampler. So this is from the DC universe, the regular DC universe. They've just gone through the all-in kind of storylines where they've started new stories, new creative teams. And then we had the DC KO, which was the big crossover, big cosmic battle. So after all of that, we're going next level. So this is, again, more new number one issues, more new storylines kicking off, good jumping on points. So this sampler gives you 3 preview chapters of books that just launched. Batwoman #1 by Greg Rucka and Danny. Lobo #1 by Scotty Young and Jorge Corona. And Deathstroke the Terminator by Tony Fleeks and Carmine Di Giandomenico. Yeah, these books have all
Easy to
just
use.
just started coming out. So if you want to give those a sample, what's currently launching in the DC universe, that's for you. For the younger readers, we've got DC and Sonic the Hedgehog. They're reprinting issue 1 of that crossover. That was hugely popular. And they're about to do a sequel coming up in a couple months. So if you want to kind of get ready for the sequel and reread that original, we'll have
They've got
those.
DC has they've got a new toy line they're doing, pairing the Sonic characters with the classic like Justice League team 2-packs and stuff I've seen.
From iPhone.
Makes a lot of sense.
Sorry.
And then for even younger readers, we've got Aqua Manatee. So this is kind of the younger reader book by Ben Clanton, who the creator of Narwhal and Jelly, which is a very popular book series for kids. This is the first chapter of an upcoming graphic novel. Marlowe the Manatee teams up with his idol Aquaman. He's a manatee who worships Aquaman, and why wouldn't you? So
Of course.
that sounds like a fun one. And on the Marvel side of things, for the very young readers, Spidey and His Amazing Friends, based on the popular cartoon series. It's got Spider-Man, Spin, is what they call Miles Morales, and Ghost Spider, Gwen Stacy. But it's not just those. We're throwing in Jeff the Land Shark and Simbi, the two, I would say, the breakout characters of this year.
Simbi.
So if you're into Simbi, he's a little.
The hell's
like
a Simbi?
Baby, he's like a baby symbiote who shapeshifts and causes trouble.
Bat
All right.
bite.
Marvel also has a little sampler with their Fox properties: Alien, Predator, and Planet of the Apes. So 3 stories from 20th Century Fox. So the Alien, there's a miniseries at the moment called Alien King Killer, and there's a Predator one, Bloodshed. So these two tie into those storylines that are currently going. And then the Planet of the Apes is a new story. And this one does have a little bit of a twist. There's a little bit of something you don't expect on the Planet of the Apes one, including
You damn dirty alien.
potential crossover with a different property.
Bluff Creek.
I wish. Alright, so from Marvel regular continuity, we've got Armageddon, the Avengers Armageddon, and X-Men. Two stories in one book. So this is the Chip Zdarsky big event for this summer is Armageddon.
You can Armageddon it for free at Asylum Comics.
You really getting it?
So this is the Red Hulk story that ties into Captain America and Wolverine and the Super Soldier Project and Weapon X and all this history. So you get kind of a sneak preview there. And then the first look at the summer's X-Men event as well. DNX. Sounds like a big X-Men thing. And then the Return
like a
of
rapper.
Doom.
Sounds like a wrestler.
Question mark.
Wrestling did that 25 years ago.
And finally, Amazing Spider-Man: Road to 1000. Amazing Spider-Man is about to hit issue 1000 this year. So it is putting out a book with that and the Queen in Black storyline. So Joe Kelly, John Romita Jr. have a Spider-Man story that introduces a brand new character we've never seen before, but is going to be important in issue 1000. Hint, hint. And then all the symbiote silliness with the Queen in Black. Hela, Thor's enemy, has been coronated as the Queen in Black, which Null and the King in Black and all that stuff. So now Hela's in charge of all the symbiotes. And then there's a Hulk backup story. They've had kind of a horror twist on things. So the eldest takes control of the Hulk, and you get a hint at the giant battle to come with this crazy, monstrous version of the Hulk. So some new stuff from Marvel coming at you. And there's other stuff. Street Fighter, Last Kids on Earth. Just there's a ton of stuff. Like I said, check out online. We'll have full lists. Your mileage may vary. Your store may not order every single one. They may run out of stuff. They may have old stuff from years past. Who knows? You might just find something you're not expecting. But again, any store that's participating is just going to be giving these away on Saturday at Asylum in Marietta. We are also doing a canned food drive. So we are giving away 3 comics. No strings attached to anybody who shows up. But if you bring non-perishable food or a $1 donation, you can get an extra free comic for every donation made. So help out the food pantry, take home some free comics, bring the kids. We'll hope it's a sunny day. We're going to have some games outside. Hopefully have a lot of fun.
Exciting. Always a bunch of people get out there and remember that there's comic books.
Yes. Rain or shine. It rained last year, I remember.
Yes.
Nobody wants wet books.
Even free.
Wet. Give me a wet Zek any day.
As soon as I said
You know you're screwed.
it. Yeah.
All right.
Good stuff. Yeah, every year. Get down there, 3rd Street, Marietta, Ohio. You'll see the crowd.
Tent.
The tent.
All right, stay on the comic book tangent. We thought we'd do a Yeah, You Know Me.
You down with KPP?
Yeah, you know me.
What the hell is wrong with you people?
What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
You don't know how it feels to be me. You don't know me by now.
Why are you the way that you are?
This is a kind of a getting to know you question that we all try to answer, and you get to know us a little better.
Yeah. You dropped this right before we started recording. What? I think we morphed it into a, like, if you could use an existing property, which you can't probably legally do, so this is a little dream thing. If you could do a little fan-fic comic story with whatever character it is you want, what would you do? What would you do with this chance? I was thinking I would, obviously I'm ready to do a Cap story, so, but I want like some grittiness, because I don't always get a lot of gritty with Cap, and because it doesn't fit sometimes. But what if we had like what do I want? I'm trying to think, like, what do I want to read? That's tells you what to write. So I think I want a story with like a bunch of his side characters, because I like, so like you get like maybe there's a mission that is going to be like down and dirty. Like they gotta take somebody out. So you're gonna have like Winter Soldier, and they're like meeting up these side characters without him. You got like Winter Soldier, maybe Rick Jones or Hawkeye, people who have killed in the past. Like I think Hawkeye killed him in his accident, but he killed Egghead, and Rick Jones is blowing people up, and of course Winter Soldier. Get a couple more, maybe maybe Black Widow or Diamondback or somebody. I don't know. Get them in there, and they've got to like do a infiltrate. I don't want the stakes to be huge. I mean, like the raid type thing. They got to get to the top of a building or something. These are not super duper powered people. And, but like at the last, before they take off, while they're like starting to make the plan, Cap shows up. So one of them called him, and like, no, I think he's you're underestimating him. He, whoever, I haven't even thought about who they need to take out. It's some real bad person. Like I would have to like go through the back issues and think of some super baddie, but he's killed before. He's chopped off Baron Blood's head with a shield back in the day. And so, but I want a lot of callbacks in it. I want, as they're going up through, things are reminders of different things that he's done with each of these people in the past. Like, maybe Rick Jones blows up Cap's motorcycle like he did in whatever, back in the Steranko issues. And I don't know. I come up with something. There's things with Hawkeye. They've worked together forever. And I always want somebody. I don't feel like I've ever seen it, but when I think of Bucky, there hasn't been since Winter Soldier came back that I've seen those two teaming up, but acting like back when he was Bucky. I want them to like quote Kirby stuff. Like I remember them like pushing a raft out with explosives. I want them to do something. I don't know how this is happening in my comic, but they like pushed this raft out with explosive. They blew something up, and there's like a shot of them set, just so barely out of the water. It's like, I think that was a good shot, Mister. Sorry, can't even think of his last name. Oh, it was must have been Rick Jones, because he's like, I think that's a good shot, Mr. Jones, or whatever, and he's like, yep, Mr. Rogers, and it's just like where they're calling each other by their names in the uniform. I don't know. I just like the callbacks to that kind of stuff, but I don't know. I don't have a fully fledged idea here, but that kind of stuff, gritty, and do they end up killing this guy? Probably not, but Cap probably has some solve for that at the end, and that's my story.
Cliff, did you have one?
I was just sitting here thinking. Actually, I was sitting here staring into the 80s toy shelf, and I don't know how well. I don't know how well.
Can't do Thundercat Silverhawks, because that's already happening.
It's already happening. Yeah, no, I was thinking more in terms of, I don't know how well this works as a comic, but it might be a fun movie. But I guess I was thinking kind of like Cannonball Run style race across the country with my favorite 80s properties, and I guess what was that? Was a cartoon, like kind of like Laugh Olympics style.
Yeah, didn't they race?
Yeah, race across, but like the Dukes of Hazzard and the A Team and the van.
They had Speed Buggy.
Right, that same type of thing is, I guess, what immediately came to mind. But different, Magnum PI and Hardcastle McCormick and all those fun, the Fall Guy in his truck and that type of thing. All those cool theme songs and stuff like that, I guess. But like like the TV type universe, live action type guys. So
that would have to be a comic, because those people are old. That's what AI versions of them.
They are indeed, yeah. But that might be kind of fun. Who would win? I don't know.
What was that show? What was that show where they used to have all these actors from different network? Oh, the Battle of the Network Stars.
Yeah, Battle of the Network.
Only you could do that with just the shows against each other.
Yeah.
In cartoon form, of course, comic.
Knight Rider chasing the A-Team van. Like I can see it.
Oh yeah.
Some Magnum PI in there. The Dukes. I
Short
don't know.
shorts.
So yeah. Fun.
I say short shorts. Of course, I'm referring to Magnum PI.
Of course, naturally. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe something like that might be fun. Ooh,
really zooming in on you there.
You got real close there on the camera.
The camera's listening to every word.
It really wanted to take that in.
Yeah.
Over here, camera. Lordy.
I had an idea ages ago. One of my favorite side characters from Marvel and the X-Men universe was Jamie Madrox, the Multiple Man. And so when I was a kid, he got killed off in the comics. And as far as I knew, that was still the story. So when I was in college, I was kind of coming up with this idea to bring him back. Here's how we could bring back the dead Jamie Madrox. And I came up with this whole storyline, revamping his entire history and all his power. You never understood, his powers, it was a secret. No one ever understood about his powers. Thinking I would pitch this to Marvel, and get a job working there, because that's how I didn't know how things worked back then. But, so that was my whole plan after graduation, to just get my foot in the door at Marvel, which, as we can see, didn't happen. And then I was flipping through back issue bins, and I see X Factor 140 something from 10 years earlier. Oh, there's Jamie Madrox on the cover. They brought him back a long time ago. So Marvel kind of short-stopped my whole plan for that. But I was going to retcon his powers, because I never understood. So Jamie Madrox, he could make multiples of himself. If he had like kinetic energy, if he hit, something hit him, a duplicate would come out. But like he was wearing the same clothes, so it's like not only did he duplicate his form, but he had like an extra coat. It's like that doesn't make any sense to the fit. So I had this whole quantum idea that he was reaching into other, every choice you make creates a split in reality, and what could have been versus, so that he could basically tap into these potential. So I was at the multiverse way before Marvel was not ready for this. And then I had this whole remember the movie Donnie Darko, where he sees the winding future that people have, he can trace where people are going to end up, basically. That Jamie Madrox saw all these potential futures, and if he needed somebody who had certain knowledge, he could reach into a future where he did that. He went to college for physics or whatever, and could pull that knowledge back. So being unaware, the early days of the internet where I couldn't just Google, is Jamie Madrox still alive?
Yeah.
I kind of wasted a lot of energy plotting his comeback. But there you have it. That would be my fan fiction, is revamping the Multiple Man for a new generation.
Wow. You might be allowed to do that. All right, we did it.
The legion of Madrox fans out there. All right, there's our Me for the episode. That's a little fun thing we like to do. We do that. We do one jobs, where we pick actors or directors or creatives and decide the one thing they should be known for. What else do? We do all kind of fun little side gigs.
I mean, yeah, a lot of lists, a lot of drafts, and
draft stuff. Do top 10s.
Yeah.
Coming up soon is our summer movie challenge, where we have a wager on who can guess biggest blockbusters of the summer. So come back for that. Check out our Patreon. Check out our TeePublic store. We've got some cool merch on there. So we thank you for all that. And we thank you for listening. And we hope you will enjoy this year's free comic book day, May 2nd, at your friendly local comic book shop. Until then, my name is Jordan Lowe.
I'm Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth. Goodbye forever.
Thanks for listening to Ka-Pow, the Pop Culture Podcast. The best way to support the show is by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/YouDownWithKPP. Catch every episode on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, or wherever you listen, and check us out online. Stay connected with us on YouTube and TikTok for extra content, or send us an email anytime at kapowthepopculturedpodcast@gmail.com. All sounds, clips, and media played are the property of their copyright holders. All original content is the property of Ka-Pow, the Pop Cultured Podcast. We'll be back soon with more fun, more laughs, and more pop culture. But until then, ask everybody you know. You down with KPP?